Well, howdy, folks. It's time for Beyond the Smoke Barbecue Talk. So grab your drink of choice and come gather around the fire as we talk all things Beyond the Smoke. Featuring pitmaster chats from all your favorite names in barbecue. We chat about competitions, pits, meats, and everything in between. From barbecue to grilling, from trimming to smoking, we got you covered. Got questions? Let us know. We're always happy to hear from you. Thanks for coming, friend. We're glad you're here. Now sit back, relax, and let's talk some barbecue. It's time to go Beyond the Smoke.
Well, we're back.
What's up, boys?
What's going on, fellas?
Special guest appearance by the Two Sauce Birdies.
Ninas, Two Sauce Ninas.
Two Sauce Ninas.
There you go. What's up, Chase?
Man, what's up, Chase?
What's up, Chase?
Nice.
Dang.
Yeah, man, I figured I had a few minutes, so I'd hop on before I gotta go start checking this combine.
Hell yeah, man. It's good to see your pretty face, sir.
Well, I don't know about that much.
People have been asking me, where's Sam? Where's Sam? I said, I don't know. In a leprechaun hole somewhere.
Hold on. I'm a little dark.
What's going on, boys? Kyle? Anthony? How's y'all's week?
Can't complain.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Not that bad.
Well, doing any barbecuing lately or no?
Hamburgers, does that count?
There you
Up
go.
north, I guess it does, right?
Hell yeah.
Unless you're smoking those patties, smoke them to about 135 degrees and fucking throw them on the fryer. On the griddle. Smash
That's the
those
best way to
fuckers
do them,
down.
dude. That's the best way to do them.
Smoked burgers are awesome, dude.
Amazing.
I don't know. I just broil the shit out of mine, basically. Just leave that Weber lid off and let them go. And then
Firing the piss out of them.
I'll slide them over to the cool side and let them relax.
What's up, George?
What's up,
Nothing wrong
George?
with
Homie?
Yeah. No, I haven't been doing much, man. We talked about it last week. What's up, Smoking Willie T?
Happy birthday.
that.
happy
Yes, sir.
birthday,
Yeah.
dude.
Right there.
Billy T, man.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, brother.
Like we talked about getting that trailer kind of tuned up, lined out. Still working on some things. Got some more equipment. Waiting for some hoses to come in for gas. put all the math together on that trailer, dude. I'm pushing almost 8,000 watts coming out of that.
Yeah.
I told you, bro.
So I'm like, maybe I need to consolidate some of that power and put it somewhere else, man. So yeah. And what's weird is that the power hungry item is a freaking toaster, dude. It's 1,800 watts. The fucker's pulling.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either till I put all the numbers together. I thought the prover unit was pulling a lot of it, but it really isn't. It's only pulling like 1,200 watts. So
That ain't bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. And I don't know how much the compressor on the AC is pulling, but you know,
There's gonna be over there like on what is it, Michael J. Fox and shit, you know, Back to the Future when he hits that it blows him up to the freaking
yeah, dude. Yeah, so there's a reason why it was so freaking hot in there. You know, we got everything going at one time. It just
Ain't got enough generator.
not enough generator, man. Not enough generators. So we'll see what happens. I gotta get everything put together and like I told y'all before, dude, I'm not in a rush. I want to make sure everything's right before next time I go out and I know the food's there. I know that part is there. It's all the logistic stuff that I need to worry about. So we'll figure it out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It'll get a little bit better every time you go.
So you're not going this weekend or what?
Well, so I was planning on it, and I need to order my meats. So I don't know if they'll be in time.
I was at Costco yesterday, just so you know. They had IBP primes for $5.99 a pound. They had like 30 of them.
Excuse me.
Oh, crap.
I haven't even been in Costco's, dude. I passed by the other day, and dude, that parking lot looked like there was a freaking concert going on there.
Oh yeah.
It's not that bad. It looks worse than what it is, man. That fucking Costco is huge, dude. That's
It is.
Once you get inside, they're not as bad as the parking lot looks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like their toilet paper, man. It's really wide, you know what I mean?
I'm always looking for those $3.99 freaking primes. I go straight to the select, fucking see if somebody mislabeled one, dude.
I was looking at them yesterday, and one of them at least was hella marbled. Like
Yeah.
you could see it. I mean, it looked like a fucking Wagyu brisket.
Nice.
Love that.
And you left it
What's
there.
up with you, Anthony?
What's up?
What's up with you, man?
No, not a whole lot, man. Trying to get everything lined out for my brother's cook-off here. And also I got a company cook-off coming up, so we're trying to get everything lined out for that. And so it's been kind of busy, kind of hectic, but man, you know, you got to love it at the same time, you know, the excitement, you know. So.
Yeah. When are you gonna start pushing Nathan's?
Oh, should have been pushing it like yesterday. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start pushing it this week, though. Yeah.
Nice, man.
So yeah, we're definitely gonna go ahead and things got aligned last minute, so hopefully everything starts falling into place, man. But we're definitely I've got a lot of help coming, so that's pretty cool, man. So we're really trying to push and make this happen, you know. So
Scott got all your paperwork and shit taken care of, or what?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
That's a man, huh?
yeah, finally, man. So we're just now we're gonna start working with the sponsors and stuff and kind of get that going, man.
So are you gonna have to reapply for that every year as far as the state?
No, well, for the actual 501c, what is it? 501c3 is what it was. So we're waiting. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily for the state championship thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That I haven't heard anything back from the governor, as they put in the governor's office.
You're good.
But I'm just hoping just for the event to go ahead and kick off. You know, so that's what we're really striving for right now. So
we'll start putting it out there, man, so we can all start sharing it. And
absolutely, man.
Hey, and what is it? 115? Is it 115? No, 128. They're almost done with it, huh? I was on there the other day, and it looked like it was pretty much done. 128 from Texas into Jow. I don't know if you've been on there lately.
Yeah.
It's pretty much
pretty much done already. Yeah.
yeah. So
hopefully by then, we'll be able to ease up a little bit there, man. But
for sure.
I mean, I know the venue is really willing to work with me and everything else, so they're excited about having the event. So we're really looking forward to it, bro. So
yeah, awesome, man. All the truck drivers are gonna be excited too when we showing up. And they're chunky. So cool, man. Cool. Kyle, why don't you introduce our guests for tonight? Let's bring them in, man.
Yeah, we got George with Pitmaker, some of the best pits in the game. I mean, I don't care where you go. If you go to a competition, if you go to an oil and gas cook-off, if you go to the American Royal, you're going to see a Pitmaker out there. So, yeah, bring him in.
There he is.
What's going on?
Mr. George, thanks for coming on.
George,
thanks for having me.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for your time and looks like your connection's a lot better now, so you're real stable.
Yeah, for the third time. I moved like 3 times in my house.
Third time's a charm. I know.
That's what happens when you have a big old house, George. You just gotta kind of find your spots, huh?
Well, I tried to do it in front of my pits outside at first, and I was like, okay, this ain't working. Yeah. So I ended up, now I'm upstairs.
No, that's awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming on, like I said, and we're excited, man. We hear about Pitmaker all the time. When I got into barbecue in 2017, one of the first things I saw was a Pitmaker pit. I'm like, man, those are awesome. Those are awesome. And seeing what kind of stuff your pits do, and at the big comps, whether it's like Kyle said, it's the Royal or the Houston or wherever, right? Even over here, you see somebody pull up with a Pitmaker, and you're like, "Oh shit, they got a Pitmaker."
Yeah, you get intimidated. You're like, wow.
For sure. So, congratulations on that. How did Pitmaker get started, George?
We've worked pretty hard, grinding pretty hard to build our. That was 18 years ago now, guys.
Wow.
It was started by me and my partners, Victor Howard and Julio Howard, in a shop with a push broom and a welding machine off Craigslist.
Wow.
And I don't know if you guys knew our backstory, but we were part owners of another barbecue pit company with a storied history, and we kind of got messed over out of a kind of a business deal that went bad. And so our lawyers told us we had a valid lawsuit, what would cost tens of thousands of dollars and cost years of legal fees just to go after those guys. And at the time, we had like 14 guys in the shop, and like, you know what, we don't want to screw over their lives. They have families. Like, we could have shut that company down. You know what? We took the high road, and we just started over. We said, you know what? We got better ideas in our head. We got better designs on the board. Now, that previous company was Pits and Spits, if y'all didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
And we're still friends with the original founders and owners of that company. Some of them have passed away, but this is the third owner that we had problems with. But anyway, all water under the bridge. As you know, we started out with better ideas in our head for the Vault and the Sniper and some of our other smokers, and we're like, you know what, we can do something better that hasn't been done before, and that was our founder company, 18 years ago.
Nice, man. That's pretty amazing. So it's the same crew from back then. I mean,
so we had us 3 and 1 employee for like a year. We were carrying metal to a friend of our shop because we didn't have all the machines back then, and we were doing, we would use his machines at night because he didn't use them at night. He'd let us come in and kind of do some work, and we'd hand load that metal and parts back to our shop and go weld them up in our shop and grind in our shop. And we did that for a long time. And the only guy that got paid was that one guy, our first lead welder. Grounded that out for like a year, started using our pits in competition, started getting ideas out there, and the rest is kind of history. As we could afford over the next 4 or 5 years, to hire some of those other guys, they all wanted to come work with us because we pride ourselves on being really good bosses and taking care of our employees, and they recognize that. So about 9 of those guys from that previous shop came and worked with us, and now we have those guys in a all new crew. So
nice.
Oh, right on.
How many pits do you think y'all are pushing out a
8
month?
Backyard pits, maybe 10 to 20. We probably do 1 to 2 trailers a week.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
They're out there. We've shipped at this point. We've shipped to all 50 states, including Alaska and Hawaii. We've shipped to over 40 countries now. So our pits are like way out there.
Nice. Man, I remember, first seeing that. Actually, I think when I first got into barbecue, I saw, I guess it was Ernest's, his vault, right? I
La Bruja.
Yeah, that one. And
La
I'm like, I
Bruja.
saw that thing, and I'm like, damn, that thing's nice.
Yeah.
He still
That's
uses
what I
it
wanna
at
be.
Burnt Bean.
Yeah, it's still there. But
Did you see the trailer it used to be on?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that thing, man. You got to know the story of that pit, the trailer.
Oh, so I remember seeing he
can you hear me?
there's a video. Yeah, I can hear you. There's a video out there where he kind of talking about the trailer,
Okay.
and it was a little one, right? It was a small little mini porch trailer, and it had the vault, and it had his Grillmeister on it, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And so he won Chopped, the barbecue edition of Chopped, which at the time, you know how normally Chopped goes on Food Network, where it's one episode, $10,000, 4 chefs up for win, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he won that, and at the when he won, it was, instead of that setup, it was 4 episodes or 5 episodes, winner take all at the end, starting with 20 chefs. He won everything, and he was talking smack. And when he won, he said, "Now you won $50,000. What do you do with your money?" He's like, "Well, I'm going to buy a Pitmaker barbecue trailer," and that shut down production because he couldn't talk about a non-sponsor of the show.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Damn. Wow, that's crazy.
So, but he kind of got famous for that. I just sent a picture of that rig.
There it
into the
is.
chat.
There it is.
Oh
There
wow.
you go. Yeah.
Yep.
That thing had beautiful hand airbrushed artwork. Like it had that sculpted skull on, that sugar skull on there. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known Ernest for over 20 years. Since previous company, we made him a trailer at Pits and Spits, actually. There's the first trailer we made for him, and then he got this one and did great things with it.
Man, that's a beautiful rig, man. And I think seeing that vault when he was talking about it on there, it was like, man, that's what I want,
Here, I'm going to send a couple more shots. So it was hand airbrushed. He was talking smack on the show, saying, "I'm an Aztec warrior. I'm here to kick Aztec names. Y'all don't know who I am." You know what I mean? And so the artwork on his pit, man, done by a good friend of ours, it's just phenomenal, dude. It's just beautiful, hand airbrushed, hand painted. It's one of the most beautiful artwork we've ever put on any of our smokers.
Man, those are awesome.
Yeah, there we go. Hetchin and Uvalde.
Yeah.
That is badass.
Yeah, that's something to be proud of for sure, man. Driving down the road, pulling that damn thing.
Yeah.
And then winning with it everywhere he goes, right?
He got in the financial. Yeah, he got in a little bit of financial bind. I didn't really know the full story behind it, but he had to sell the trailer, right? And so one of my customers came to me and said, "Hey, I got this trailer," and I saw it, and I'm like, "Wait a minute." And he said, "Can you do something for me?" So I called Ernest and I said, "What happened?" He said, "Man, I had to sell my rig, blah, blah, blah." I said, "You know what? It's here. The customer wants us to adjust it. I'm going to take your smoker off, and I'm going to keep it for you."
Nice.
So I took the vault off, and we told him we're going to keep it for him. We held on to it for like 2 or 3 years, and we gave it back to him when he was able to open Burnt Bean, the restaurant. And so he was just over the moon. You know, I just thought like something like that shouldn't go.
Right.
It was just within our power to kind of help them out with that, and we were just honored to do that, man. I'll just leave it.
Yeah,
at
no,
that.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Is he still cooking with that vault over there in the restaurant? I don't know if he is or not.
Yeah, it's in the restaurant.
Okay.
He does certain things with it. I'm not sure how much production he actually does with it, but I know it's there and I know it's in use. At least last time I talked to him, it was.
Nice. Yeah, man, that's an awesome rig, man.
Yeah, I'm ready for mine.
George says, "Send a check."
No, actually, myself
we-
and my
we've
coworkers, we
that's-
cooked on recently. We loved it. It was a really nice pig. Yeah, well, it was, I guess it was built for our sister company, SEC, and I guess out of Houston. And man, we've cooked on that thing. It was my first time cooking on one. Man, it ran like a Cadillac. It was beautiful. Loved it.
Awesome. Great to hear, brother. We work hard on it, man. You know, that's one thing about our smokers. I think that sets us apart as owners, as founders of our company. You know, we get out and we battle test them. We put them in hard use, and you know, we tailgate 8 NFL home games every year for 18 years. We cook for 300 or 400 people. We get out there and we do competitions ourselves. We don't do as many as we used to do in the beginning. We used to do like 20 a year, plus tailgating. And then, you know, as our customers started winning and, you know, everyone started getting used to using our products, we were like, okay, let's just kick back and start doing some of the bigger cook-offs. Maybe the ones that are out of state, that people don't know our product very well. And yeah, so and we, you know, what you see is a design refinement from that testing, that, you know, we get out there and get our hands dirty, find out what works, what doesn't work, what breaks down, and we go back to the shop and we make it better. You know, that's the foundation of our products.
Right. How did y'all come up with those designs? As far as the, you know, like the sniper, it's a unique design, the way that, you know, the lids open up and stuff like that. But who came up with that kind of stuff? I think it's pretty innovative.
That's a synthesis of all three of us, man.
Yeah.
And I say synthesis it's more like it's an arguing fit for 3 weeks. You know, we go back and forth. Oh, we need to do it like this. No, we need to do it like this. You do welding, you know, test some shit. Okay, that's not working. You know, and then we just by that little dialogue, you know, we come up with the best design. The process, me, Victor, and Julio.
Nice.
It's just it's always been like that. I don't know if you guys know this. We've made some changes in the sniper over the years. They're minor. They're hard. We make small iterations that are hard to see. They look the same as what we did, you know, 10 years ago, but they're actually like now we're insulating the sides of the sniper that are standard. We've started insulating the tops about 12 years ago standard. Little tweaks in, you know, valve placement, air damper placement, you know, things like that.
Yeah, Willie T's looking for. You're gonna have to leave someone.
Will's used them quite a bit over the years. Yeah, but you know, we're not the least expensive pit out there, but you know that quality shows in how we build our products. You know, we'd use all stainless hinges, all stainless smokestacks. We use the best high quality primer on our insulated designs, zinc epoxy. It's a very, very labor intensive what we do. You know, we sand and grind off. I was talking smack to somebody online, which I don't really do usually. But they posted a pit on one of our forums, and I'm like, man, that's not one of ours. I was like, look at the grates. The mill finish. I don't know if you guys know what mill finish is, like from steel.
Right.
It's the finish they put on the steel to get transported and you know, to protect it during fabrication. We take the time to grind all that off. People look at our grates, our cooking grates, small example, they look like they're all stainless, like they're just high polished and, you know, beautiful when they're new. It's because we take the time to sand. We take this time to sand off all that mill finish. And so that shit is actually toxic, by the way, in case you guys didn't know. You're not supposed to really cook on that stuff. But besides that, it prevents the oil from bonding correctly with the steel, just like an iron skillet. It's supposed to be naked and raw. The oil gets on it, you heat it up, that oil cooks on, bonds on that molecular level with that heat, carbonizes, and now your grate's protected properly for the years to come, right? So that's a small thing, like the labor that goes into what we do. People, like, the average guy doesn't know it, right? He just thinks the barbecue is barbecue, but they look kind of the same. But this little things that we do that take it to a whole new level. Same thing with our trailers. We grind off the mill finish off every portion of one of our trailers on a component level, every box. We pre-fit every component to a trailer, box, table, pits, whatever. Do our mount points, drill points, make sure everything fits perfectly. Then we completely disassemble that trailer and we zinc epoxy prime every item. Gets lifted into the air, shot 360, thinner wash. That every box, every item, including the frame, those all cure for 5 days. We sand it, we do another thinner wash, and then we shoot each item with paint. Then when we reassemble, there's no areas of misfinish whatsoever on any of our stuff, man.
Every corner.
So, a lot of pits out there, they'll weld a pipe to a trailer, drives down the street in a rainstorm, and there's rust streaks coming from every corner.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen with our stuff for that reason. It's just little things people don't see, but that's kind of what makes our stuff. I wouldn't say the most expensive out there, because I don't think we are, but we're not the low portion either, right? So
right.
You get what you pay for,
Yeah, for sure. And I talked to these guys before. I mean, I'm a cabinet smoker guy. Man, I love mine. I love mine. It's not a Pitmaker, but y'all were in the running. I had the two and
what is it? If you don't mind me asking, what's your cabinet smoker?
It's a Lone Star.
Okay.
It's a Lone Star.
They're close to our city.
Yeah. So it just
your Lone Star is not a reverse flow, right?
No, correct. It's just regular stack on the top. So I know y'all do have the reverse flow. The way it goes on that Pitmaker, if I remember correctly, smoke's coming up out of the sides, right? It's actually coming up into the walls, and it comes out.
The way our vault smoker works is the top of your firebox in the vault, which is a solid 1/8 inch thick 304 stainless steel. It's basically also your drip pan. It's reinforced and it slopes upwards towards the rear. So heat and smoke naturally draw towards the rear. Then the entire rear of the smoker is a false stainless wall that the heat and smoke comes up and is released. So there's no impediment from the smoke hitting into the chamber. Follow me? So then that smoke density has to build through every layer and builds up that smoke density. We call it thermal inertia as well. Fills up the entire chamber before leaving out the sides. Yeah. We feel that's the best way. We've made it multiple ways, but it seems to be the best, most efficient way on that style cabinet smoker.
How would you compare? I mean, I'm sure you know about that Lone Star. What do you as far as, besides the design, that one being a reverse, one not being a reverse, I mean, what do you think about it?
So the benefits of the reverse flow is what you're asking about, basically, right?
Yeah.
So with the vault cooks with what I call omnidirectional heat. Are you familiar with that terminology? So most people that get a vault home and they never cooked them, and they like, one of the early reactions of a lot of them are like, they call me the next day, hey man, I cooked a brisket on my smoker on my vault and it's done in 7.5 hours instead of 9, and it's the same 14-pound brisket I normally cook. I cook at the same temperature when I cook. Like, what's going on? Is my thermometer wrong, or what's going on, right? And I have to. It's a little counterintuitive if you're not about smoker design. Basically, with that omnidirectional heat that I'm talking about, most smokers, if you're cooking on offsets, pretty much pass smoke from one firebox to the chamber and out, one direction. Heat and smoke, right? Flow one direction. The vault, because it's a reverse flow, has two types of smoke, two types of heat. First, you have the dry atmospheric smoke heat that comes from the top, like I described. It's released in that chamber. At the same time that's going on, you're reclaiming the infrared energy that's radiating through that stainless pan and coming through the bottom. So that comes in, and you're cooking with two types of heat on the meat. You follow me? The meat kind of in the middle, and they create a convection action. So if you're, as any chef knows, a convection oven cooks faster than a regular oven because that heat's circulating, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's two types of heat. They start circulating, and your meat gets done a little faster. Not only that, but what's counterintuitive is the extreme recovery rate of an insulated cabinet smoker, which yours would have as well if it has good insulation, versus a single wall offset. Basically where I'm talking about this is, you open a brisket, you open up your pipe pit, your brisket goes from pipe pit goes from 260 to that 150, and then you shut it, and then wrapping or loading some sausage on or whatever, and it takes that 15-20 minutes to come back up, depending on how cold the temperature is and what's in your firebox at the moment. The vault, 5 minutes, man, less than 5 minutes, you're back into that 260.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
if you take that instead of 15 is 5 or less than 5, and you multiply it by this, I said, how many times you're down in your smoker? And he's like, I was in and out 6 times. I took some sausage off, put some ribs on, I wrapped this, I checked temperature. I was like, okay, you've used 6 times in and out of your smoker during that brisket cook. That's an hour of cooking time that you shaved off with the vault that you wouldn't have shaved off with an offset.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Just in recovery time. So people are always amazed at how fast a vault cooks in relation to their offset or whatever. They think my thermometer's wrong, or it's cooking hotter than I think it is, and I'm like, no, man, it's just this is what's going on. I have to explain it to them. And especially in a commercial setting, time is money, dude.
Right. Yeah, when it's taking, like you said, 6 or 7 hours to cook a big ass brisket compared to 14 hours, you know what I mean? Get more on.
Mm-hmm.
So especially with the ribs.
We won Memphis in May World Championship. Yep. We won Memphis in May World Championship brisket. I think Will was there at that one. It's a 16-pound brisket, trimmed down to about 14 and a half in 6.5 hours.
Wow. Jesus. Damn. Yeah, that's
not a vault, dude.
That's pushing it.
And it was a beautiful Wagyu. And we cook a little hot, but 6.5 hours doing on a 14-pound brisket, first place. Grand champion at a world championship cook-off. It's not every day you can say it. And we weren't cooking those little flats like everyone does nowadays. We're cooking 14 pound. Was started as a 16, 17. We trimmed down to about 14.
Right.
Yeah, that's my kind of brisket cook.
Fucking Sam, we need a smile or blink or something. We can't see nothing, bro.
Man, hey, these damn Chevrolets, they don't have enough lights in them.
You driving, Sam?
No, sir. I'm out in the field. I'm working in harvest right now, so I'm about to go check a combine here in a minute.
The dark night over there, man. Yeah.
The dark night.
Hey, and I got all any light that can turn on in this truck is on.
Do you would you rather cook with the water pan in those cabinet smokers? Because I've seen mine. I mean, here lately I've been cooking with water, but in the past I would never had to, right? But it does help with the moisture content, in whatever you're cooking.
That's a good question, because we get that question all the time. People use our pit as a water smoker. We don't recommend it, or I don't think it makes good barbecue, so I don't recommend it. It works great, right? If that's what you're into. But to me, there's that philosophy, right? That Myron makes an H2O smoker, and then for a long time, the backwoods people were telling people, hey, you got to put water in your smoker, so that, because that makes it a little easier to control temperatures on an insulated smoker, because temperatures people don't know, and they tend to put too much heat into the pit, right? So by using water as a thermal ballast, it basically stabilizes everything. You could have a roaring inferno. If you have water in that water pan, it's 260, 275. But the problem with that is it's too humid, too moist. If your smoker is boiling water constantly, it's making your environment in your atmosphere too humid, and your bark doesn't set up correctly. Your bark stays mushy. The smoke density is less because it's too much water in the air. Those usually have problems. Some people like that, and I have a lot of customers that's what they believe in. That's what they, especially out in Georgia, the H2O style smokers, like that's what they do. But to me, that's nasty, bro. Like that's not good. That's not good Texas barbecue. You're not reducing, caramelizing that bark and making, good flavor boldness, by doing that. So what we've been telling customers lately is you do want a little bit of water in there.
Yeah.
So what I tell them, especially in the vault, you have a lot of room. Take a couple of the cooking grates and put 2 full-size aluminum pans to catch your drippings. Right. Number one, makes cleanup easy. Number two, you add water to those pans, and because it's like a double boiler, it's so far away from that drip pan in the top of that firebox that it's just the right amount of heat to just put enough moisture into the air. And that's how we do our competitions for the longest. And that's what we instruct our customers to do when they pick up and buy one of our vault smokers.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm doing on one of my cabinets. Is I've never filled it up with water. I'm always doing a half pan, maybe half a gallon of water, and that's it. Didn't throw the whole cook. So,
Have you ever seen that your water pan section? Have you ever seen the metal get heated up too much and get brittle or anything? Or is there 2 layers down there between the fire? And
so in the early vaults, I'm saying like, 2000 under 2011. They were a little thinner. They were thinner gauge stainless. We use one right now at our shop every day. It's 17 years old, and it's a little bit warpy, but it hasn't cracked, right? But that constant heat beat down over the years can cause metal to fatigue after so many years. Now, the way we're doing them since then, like 2012, I think we switched to 1/8-inch plate, 304 stainless. That doesn't have any problems. As of 13, if you have a vault that's less than 13 years old, you're good. You're not ever going to have problems. We reinforce it with angle, stainless angle welded, and it's that thick folded. Like we fold that pan, 1/8-inch plate, solid 304 stainless. That's the other. Now, talk about material costs in a pit, right?
For sure.
Nobody does that in their cabinet smokers, bro. And it makes the entire back wall 304 stainless, and as well as entire separate. That's a lot of heavy, expensive stainless.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I sent you that
one.
Durable. I sent you that one a while back, and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this one? You're like, do not buy that one. It was, how old was that thing? Like 15, 20 years old or something?
Yeah, when they're more than 15, they're just, we do make them with little refinements. They look the same, but they're not quite the same as what we do, as of maybe 10 to 11 years ago, right? We've made little tweaks every year, and we constantly make them a little bit better. Little things, small things.
Do you guys take your old pits back in and refurbish them or any of that kind of stuff for people?
We repair. We'll do the odd repair for our own pits. We don't take them in like in trade normally. No, that's our number one enemy, by the way. Our number one competitor is the resale market, because our pits hold their value really well, and people will you get the odd business shutdown or divorce or whatever. Someone's just done with barbecue and they're getting rid of our, and so we're having to, I think, fight that sales market almost as much as someone else building pits brand new. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, if you come across them, send one my way. Yeah. So here's how I met George. I bought that trailer, and it's got that sniper in there. And
you got Don's old trailer, right?
Yep. And I tried cooking on it, and I'm like, God damn, this thing just gets fucking hot. Like, what the hell am I doing wrong? So I had to call George, and I'm like, George, what am I doing wrong? Can you give me some guidance? Let me know, how do I keep it from running 400 degrees, because it just gets so damn hot. And so he gave me some guidance on that, and man, it really helped. I had to switch the way that I was cooking on it compared to my Jambo, because they're just built differently, right?
Yeah, two totally different units.
Insulation is different on the Pitmaker than it is on the Jambo, right? Where the whole Pitmaker's insulated, the Jambo isn't, right? And so it's a learning curve, man, for sure. But I was telling these guys I could get up and just use charcoal in that pit, and I could set it at about 250, 275 every hour. I just throw like 2 handfuls of charcoal in there, come back in the house, take a nap, wake up about an hour later, 2 more handfuls, come back.
Like clockwork.
Yeah.
I'll put the sniper up against it. People don't talk about it a lot, but I'll put the sniper up against any offset out there. I'll put it up against any offset out there, man. The sniper breathes and respirates, and so for such a large chamber, especially, we always talk about it all the time. Like, why are we giving our customers such a large chamber? Our competitors aren't. They don't. It's able to do such a large volume of food compared to what most are offering for the same money, and we're like, because we can. It's our door design, our chamber design enables us to put that extra grade in there and give it, that's just like always been a value add that we think is important, because we have a lot of commercial customers. We don't talk a lot about them out there, but we have a lot of caterers. We have a lot of guys that use our pits in the restaurant industry. And, for those guys, we're always trying to give them more bang for their buck, because they're grinding it out, producing, and it's just the way we think.
Right. What's the recovery time on one of the snipers as far as like opening it up and closing it? I mean, it's, whenever you open it up, that whole chamber is getting open, right? So you're losing a lot of heat at the time. You think the recovery time is about the same? I mean, not exactly the same.
I think it's about the same as any jambo or pipe pit, because the doors and the insulation, the gasket does help. I mean, when it's locked in and it's shut, the smoke and heat comes one way in and one way out of the smokestack. It's sealed. Am I right, Kyle?
Oh yeah.
Would you say your sniper is just comparable recovery time to your jambo?
No, it's way faster.
See, it's faster.
It's way faster, and
that's my experience too. Because we build pipe pits, we build really good pipe pits. We have that Hitman model smoker that we make, and we've made quite a few over the years. And the sniper has a faster recovery time. And I'm not sure if it's the gasket, the insulated doors. It's not fully insulated like the vault is, but the recovery time is still faster than any pipe pit out there, even for such a large chamber. What I mean?
Yeah, I think it has to do with the insulation on the doors and whatnot. Like it retains that heat, right? And so my pipe pit, my jambo, as you would call it, it's not insulated on the chamber whatsoever. So when you open it up, right? I mean, you hold the door open, right? Because it sticks up there. The door automatically starts cooling off as soon as you open it, and the sniper doesn't do that. It just holds that heat.
There you go. Yeah. That's your answer, Serge.
Man, I'm telling you, man. I love your pits. First of all, right? It's just at the time whenever I had to make the decision, right? It was Pitmaker or the Lone Star, and I'm like, I mean,
don't apologize to me, bro.
Hey, no, it's a damn good pit, right? I love it. I tell these guys all the time, and they're amazed whenever I started using it and actually learned how to cook on it. Just the recovery time on it, like everything's good. I know there's differences, but
so I'll tell you this, because we do look at some of our competitors, especially Lone Star, because number one, they're close to us. Number two, if you watched the beginning of their company when their websites first appeared, they used to, you could tell by their videos, they used to really watch our videos and really try to emulate what we're doing. I mean, very, very similar, in our early YouTube stuff, very, very similar. And so we were like, man, look at these guys, So we've always seen, especially in their cabinet smokers, they're making the mistakes with their cabinet smoker that we made like 15 years ago in our prototypes.
Right.
You follow me? So
yeah.
It's just, I'm not saying like they're not doing anything bad or anything. It's just things that we do pay attention to people out there, especially close to us, right? That are building similar smokers or maybe copying or gaining inspiration from what we do. Right, and we're like, we take a measure of our competitors every now and then. They're like, oh, you know what? We don't have to worry about them. They're not solving the problems that we did. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things I have to say about that one in particular. That's not saying anything's bad about it.
Yeah. How would you compare, like, say, the Magnum sniper to go into a commercial setting? Because that's the big one, right? The Magnum.
Yeah, and we've made extras large Magnums as well for commercial. Okay. We've done one for the Blood Brothers barbecue. Now, here's the thing, right? In the commercial setting, you have a lot of these craft barbecuers that are using extremely large pipe pits, and we can make very good pipe pits. And we've had that argument, like, man, they're putting it's easier actually to make a pipe pit than it is the sniper. You know what I mean? There's a lot less labor, a lot less materials. We're like, well, we should get into it. We can make those big pipe pits as good as anybody. And we have, we don't push it, but we have, and we can. And part of the, it's just that craft look of like the big mill scales and Mobergs, you know what I mean? And it's like, and I get the fact that restaurants are like those old school pits that they look more old school. And you're saying, and so it's what you're asking is like how does the Magnum Sniper kind of compare to those? Is what I'm saying, what I'm hearing in my brain when you ask that question. And there's pluses and minuses to that pit, right? How I would put the Magnum Sniper, especially the large custom ones we've done, up against those as well. The difference is most of your craft guys have learned, especially in terms of briskets, those guys just do one cooking grate for the entire chamber.
Right.
Because they don't like the drippings of other meats coming on other meats, right? Mm-hmm. To me, that's a function of luxury versus function or craft, right? Yeah. Do you want a very large pipe pit that's not as efficient, that has bigger differential temperature zones, or do you want to be able to cook the most meat for your money? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's where I'm headed.
It's a give and take, and we've done larger offsets before. It's just a matter of personal preference, honestly. And we cook volume on our snipers. Like we do, 60 briskets for a Houston Rodeo cook-off. Other settings. It's just a matter of managing how you place the meat, kind of, also how you're placing the meat, which temperature zones you're using, what you're allowing to happen as a pit master in terms of, how the meat's basting each other, right? Or not.
Right.
I can tell you from our experience, we can produce just as good meat with 2 layers of briskets versus one giant, enormous layer and a big heat differential. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just personal preference and experience and what you're doing as a pitmaster.
Yeah, and I think that's what like Will said. His comment, wasting money on fuel is downfall where you don't need much wood on the pitmaster. Man, I've gotten spoiled on fuel efficiency. You know what I mean? Whenever you go see a big 1,000 gallon, there's Jackie. Whenever you see 1,000 gallon and they're burning a quart of wood a week, you know what I mean? Something like that. It's like, well, they can just be doing,
exactly.
a couple handfuls of charcoal.
I've had to cut commercial customers like praise our pits. I'll give you an example. We had a caterer in the DFW area. He ran he had a big. It was a reverse flow. Who does a reverse flow? What's a big old reverse flow from Oklahoma area?
TMG?
No, it's another one. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, he had a big reverse flow, like a 30 by 60 inch pipe. He said, "Dude, I'm out of room. I need to buy a pit." He bought a vault, right? So this is about 6 years ago. Our vault was like 4,000 back then, maybe 8 years ago. And 6 months later, he comes back and said, "I need another one." And I'm like, "What?" And he said, "Dude, I ran my offset for 14 hours a day, and I was able to cook this much meat. I got the vault, and it's not apples to apples because it's a cabinet versus an offset." Right. He said, "Dude, I ran the vault 14 hours a day. I used." And he said he did the math. Like he had the spreadsheets. Like, dude, we have engineers that buy our stuff sometimes, and he goes, "It would cost me," this is back then, it cost me $34 or $44 of fuel to run my big offset 12 hours a day or 14 hours a day. In the vault, I'm spending $14 worth of fuel to run for 14 hours a day.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. Right.
$30 a day. He said 5 days a week is 30 times 5, $150 a day. Is $600 a month. He's like in 6 months, the pit paid for itself. That's why I'm getting another one. In fuel alone in 6 months. Yeah,
for sure. For sure. I love the efficiency, You can't beat a half a bag of charcoal for 14 hours.
If you're producing the same product, and especially with the Vault from a commercial standpoint, he also said like it cooks faster. Like I'm able to kick out more. I don't have to stay up as long. Like, the Vault cooks faster compared to an offset for those reasons I described earlier. You know, he was like, it just doesn't make sense for me to continue with that when I can produce as good a product, less fuel, more, by the way, more resistant to weather changes. The Vault, because the Vault's insulated, doesn't matter if it's rainy, it's cold. That shit don't bother the Vault. You know what I mean?
Right. For
I have a lot of customers up north. Like they'll send me emails in December and in November. Like, dude, from I get emails from like Wisconsin and from New England and Maine, and like, man, it's Christmas. We're doing our Thanksgiving turkey. It's 5 degrees outside. And they'll show me this picture of the Vault in the snow. My pit's at 275. Like I've been cooking for 4 hours. Like I can't believe it. Right? They're like shocked.
Yeah.
I get those emails every year. So it's just little things like that, that's where you start, that's where you place like engineering, better material science and versus making a better pit, right? Not just the craft and kind of how it looks, but actually design, efficiency, we always pride ourselves also on durability. That's one thing that we've always truly focused on. We have a saying, the Pitmaker, the saying is functionality first, then durability, then looks, right? People always say, well, your pits look so beautiful. We're like, well, that's a side effect of our finish process. Our goal is, durability, functionality first, how it cooks, smoke density, flavor output, etc. After that, durability. And so the saying is, it cooks better than it looks. It cooks better than it looks, and it looks pretty damn good.
Right.
People say our spits are pretty, but that's just because we do zinc epoxy primer. We hand grind all this stuff off, and we don't do that finish because we want it to look good. We shoot, fleet level polyurethane auto enamel, and we don't have robots, bro. We don't have clean rooms. We're not like GMC or Ford where we're just got a paint room. Or a guy with a spray gun, we try to produce great level finish. I'm like, but we don't promise like factory level finish. We just promise that your shit's going to be tough as hell, last, durable as hell. Those zinc epoxy primers and stamp stuff they stick on offshore oil rigs and battleships. Like that's what we promise. All our hinges, even though they're painted and primered, they're a solid 304 stainless on the hinge, on the awnings of your trailer, and on the hinges of your firebox and your friction chamber. Little things like that, and that's kind of what we focus on and make our shit tough,
No.
I'm getting off subject.
No, we had a question for you right here from Brandon.
Oh yeah, very good. Yep.
Brandon, we have thought about rotisserie very long and very hard, and we're kind of going to come out with one pretty soon, actually.
Awesome.
Kind of, huh?
So here's the thing about rotisseries, and here's the thing about smoker design. When you get above a certain firebox to cooking chamber ratio and size, right? When your firebox grows, like people tell us all the time, like, hey, I want a bigger Vault or I want a bigger Sniper. When you get above a certain size, when you're serving a certain size cooking chamber with just one single firebox, you have problems. You have problems in having that heat being even, that smoke density being even, and then you add then to solve it, you have to do one of two things. You have to move the meat around the chamber, ergo a rotisserie, or you have to start moving that atmosphere around the meat, or both. That's when these large commercial designs, like an Old Hickory or a Southern Pride, right? You're having the rotisserie, added complexity of a rotisserie, and sometimes they have gas augmentation to kind of add heat to those very large commercial smokers, and then you start losing the flavor aspect of it, right? The ability of that pit to produce good food. So, and that's another reason why you see a lot of our trailers and even a lot of our people using our smokers in a commercial setting, such as a restaurant. They'll have 2 or 3 vaults versus a large rotisserie, right? Number one, you have added expense and added mechanical complexity. Plus, you're starting to cook barbecue with electricity and other mechanical components instead of just wood and charcoal like God intended.
Right.
Right. And so, we've kind of stayed away from that. We always tell our customers, and then if you're a restaurant owner or a chef or a pit master, like I'd rather have 2 or 3 smokers versus one large one. Because then I can do, I'm putting on my ribs. I'm going to run ribs on. They have a lot of sugar in the rub, so I don't want to get above 250, 260. And I like hickory on my pork, so I'm going to run it on this vault. And on this vault, I'm putting my beef on there, and I can go a little hotter because it's more of a savory spice rub. Sugar's not going to burn. And I like oak and I like mesquite on my beef, so I'm going to run it at 285 on this pit. And so that's why you see a lot of our trailers with multiple smokers. And as a pit master, you have more weapons in your arsenal, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And as a chef, same thing. You see that in a lot of our restaurant owners that are using our pits. They'll do the same thing. And also cross-contamination. You know what? I want to put all my poultry, all my turkey, and my chicken on this vault because I don't want it dripping on my beef and my pork because that's cross-contamination.
Right.
And I want to run pecan on my poultry, right? So you have those options by staying with a smoker a certain size. And also, incidentally, from a production and commercial standpoint, it's easier to ship, right? Easier to get through a doorway in a kitchen or a house or a yard, while our vaults and snipers stay, to get through a doorway.
Right.
So we haven't, we haven't really wanted or needed rotisseries up until that point, for those reasons. Again, added cost, added the mechanical complexity. Why do that when you can solve those problems other ways? Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. The footprint of one of those rotisseries, huge footprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it.
So,
And there's a lot. The reason I say we're going to start doing some pretty soon is because we're going to go a little larger. We do have a constant request for commercial products, more similar to what's out there. And also because we have a really good long-term famous world champion pitmaster that we're going to work with on that. I'm not going to name names, but some people might know.
Good point, really, too.
Yeah,
that's right, man. That's right, dude. I've been at cook-offs where like same thing. Like, I don't have electricity, bro. I'm like, they're just lost. You know what I mean? I remember one time I was on the precursor to Pitmasters season 2. I was cooking with Big Mista. Y'all remember him? From Pitmasters. It was him. It was Tuffy Stone.
Yep.
It was Myron Mixon was on one team, and it was Bubba Q out of Florida. Bubba was running around with his chicken like a head cut off. This is a TV show, because he forgot his probes for his DigiQ or CyberQ for his he had a gravity feed, and on those pits, that's why the reason we've been running a gravity feed too, because you can't run a gravity feed without a fan, pretty much. Not consistently. You have to have a powered draft fan because that's an unnatural flame orientation. You're basically taking a shoot of charcoal, lighting the bottom of it, letting the coals drip through to hit your chips on the bottom. That's how most gravity feeds work. And then if you're not force drafting that stoke, most fires you're supposed to build kindling, fuel, and on top, and that's how fireboxes burn clean. On a gravity feed, it's a little unnatural because of the way the orientation of the chute falling through. It's just you have to. If you have a power draft, it works. But he didn't have the probes he needed to run his power draft, so he was running crazy, bro. And I always stick that in my mind because it was like a high stakes national TV situation. He was like,
right.
And I'm, same thing. Like Will said, if you're a rotisserie and you're at a cook-off and you don't have power or your generator don't work, or you're screwed, man.
Yeah, for sure. Quick question for you, and I've had some the guys that we have cooked on a vault, and I told them, I said, make sure you don't overshoot that temp because once you overshoot, you're screwed, right? What's your
and that's probably the number one that's the number one mistake made with a vault also. And again, we always recommend natural draft, no power, no. I have everything, dude. I have ThermalWorks signals. I have a CyberQ. I have a DigiQ. I've messed with Fireboard, and I'm a nerd like that too. I don't know if you guys know that. I'm kind of a techie. I'm half Asian. I'm half Korean, so I'm always like looking for the next gadget. But when I cook in my vault at home or in competition, I don't use none of that shit. You crack your damper at 30%. You build your fuel. The way you're supposed to cook in the vault is, I always tell people and I tell all my customers, you want to creep up to the temperature you want to be at, and then you want to pause. And there's a couple of ways to accomplish that. You probably see often our customers out there using our vaults. They're preheating their vault smokers, and that's one of the ways to help you. If you do the preheat, the vault's like a giant metal Yeti. Once it gets there, it's there. It doesn't take a lot of fuel to keep it there, right? But you still want the good smoke flavor. You still want a good combustion. You still want a good respiration in the smoker. So by doing the preheat, you're able to light the small amount of fuel you need. And we recommend a charcoal trail or a line, and using the mini method, and then putting one small stick of fuel. And that's another mistake customers make, is they'll put chunks of wood, which don't give you the best flavor. Once you start getting a smaller than a fist-sized chunk, the combustion becomes too efficient. You're not getting really good, rich smoke flavor, that you do out of a split, right? So we cook with splits from size of a Coke can to, size of a forearm is your optimal size for a vault or any other smokers, really. And so you light the pit in such a way that you're able to put one split at a time, and that's going to be your cleanest combustion and your best flavor and your best respiration, right? And it's similar to an offset. Treat your vault like an offset. You're going to get offset results. People they don't preheat. They'll light a fire. They'll get impatient because now you're trying to take 20-30 minutes to light this cabinet smoker, get the 850 pounds of steel hot, right? Yeah. And they're loading fuel, and they're like, and all of a sudden, okay, then now they're on their way, and then they get there and they go past that because they were impatient. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, how do I shut it down? Well, once it's hot, just like a giant metal Yeti, you can open that door for 5 minutes and shut it, and it's going to go right back to where it was.
If not higher.
Again, if not hotter. So again, the goal is to creep at the temperature you want and then pause. Now, what I do tell people, and this has happened to me before, is like, if I have, the vault's a 2-inch damper on the ball valve. In normal operation, run it to 260 to 275 all day long. It's 30% open, 70% shut. If you're building your fuel correctly, that's all the oxygen you need to run one stick at a time, breathing correctly, beautiful smoke density, beautiful blue smoke for hours on end, right? So say, for instance, this is what happened to me. Your little 5-year-old niece comes by at Thanksgiving, and she opens your firebox door and she doesn't shut it all the way. And so now you're getting oxygen from the firebox, and you come back for your Thanksgiving turkey, and your shit's at like 400 degrees. You're like, oh shit, oh my God, right? Because the firebox door was open and cracked. What do? The easiest way is what I said earlier, with the thermal ballast. Dump a gallon or two of water right in your drip pan. You could have a roaring inferno down at the bottom. No matter what's going on, your pit will automatically stabilize because water boils at 212 degrees. Those 212 free particles come up next to what's coming from the firebox and immediately stabilize your vault smoker at 260, 275, even if you have an inferno down there. Okay. Save your Thanksgiving cook. So that's the easiest way to drop a vault temp to answer your question. I know that's a long ass explanation, but that's
no, man. Very helpful. I've been searching for that answer for a while. It took me a while to figure out how to run a vault, fully insulated vault smoker. I mean, you just don't light a fire and expect for it to happen, right? It takes a while. Sure. There is a lot of patience involved.
Any new pit, you got to pay your dues, man. I don't care whose it is,
Right. Yeah, so like on mine, I got into where, and it's taken me a long time to get there, but I can have it up to temp wherever I want in 15, 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Just have it sit there all day long, But awesome. Before, I was hitting it with the torch and being impatient, and then boom, there, like you said, that temperature just starts climbing. It's 275. Next thing you know, it's 315, 320, and I'm like, shit. Like, there goes that, right? And I never thought about, actually putting water in there to to cool it off.
Thermoballast. It's instant. It works within 2 minutes, dude.
Nice.
It works within 2 minutes, and you can make adjustments. You can do like, if you're like in competition, like I'm 10 degrees hotter than where I want to be. I want to cook my ribs right at 260 or whatever. I'm like 270. I'm like, shit. 1 bottle of water. Whoop. We'll drop it 10 degrees. Burp it. Shut it. You're stay at 260.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Awesome. Man, that's
it's a little,
great tip. Great tip.
Yeah, absolutely.
George, do you have videos on YouTube on how to light those things?
We do. We're actually working on doing more production for operation and cooking. Actually, we're start coming out with more cooking videos very soon. We're in the process of remodeling this area. I don't know if you can see that on my shirt. Read that.
Humble.
Yeah.
1886 Humble Backyard. We own a bar and grill. That's a mile from our shop. And a couple years ago, we purchased the property next to us, and we built out kind of a venue area. And
nice.
We're in the process of remodeling it. And once we finish that, we're going to start doing more video shoots there. We're going to host classes there.
Nice.
Not necessarily competition classes, but we get a lot of requests from our customers. Hey, man, I want to learn how to cook chicken better. I want to learn how to do basic operation of our pit. So we're going to start doing some basic classes that are organized, maybe just like clinics, like beef clinic or rib clinic. Not necessarily competition, although we might do one of those too. You know what I mean? And then also operation. And when we do that, we'll have an area to shoot those kind of videos, more instruction videos with an area with good sound and good lighting. Have to put out some professional level stuff rather than just handheld stuff.
Right. What's your thoughts on, say, something like, we keep talking about the cabinet smoker, but snake method versus like just putting a pile of charcoal into the firebox, or how would you run something like that?
And briquettes versus lump.
Good
question.
Yeah.
Good question. Good questions. So there's no right way to run our vault smoker. There's like your way and my way, and then there's like the right way, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have customers, they'll do a triangle, dude. They'll build like these shapes and like, this works great for me. I'm like, that's awesome, dude. That's not what I do. And even internally, like Victor and Julio run the vault a little bit different than I do. I run more of a minion method, a line, and so that's where you get, and it also depends on application, right? So you build your fuel differently according to like if you're doing a bulk cook or versus one brisket, right? Because, and I do the minion method. I'll do a single line, 3 or 4 briquettes wide, as high as it'll stack, and that answers your question. It said also briquettes versus lump. I can use lump too. Like I use lump Sunday at tailgating to cook those ribs we did and other stuff. I recommend briquettes to most of my customers because of consistency. As a pitmaster, I want the same results every time. I don't want, if it's raining, if it's this or this and that, I want to produce the same results every time. A good quality, hard, all natural briquette, no petrochemicals, right? Whether it's Kingsford, whether it's B&B, whether it's Royal Oak, that's going to give you that consistency for production. As long as you're using real wood to augment flavor, right? And I tell people this analogy all the time. I can take a brisket, spice it, cut it in half, cook half on this vault, cook with lump charcoal and wood, cook half on this vault, cook with briquettes and wood. You're not going to be able to tell me which fucking brisket was cooked on which, right? You're just not going to be able to do it. 99%, unless you're a sommelier and you have the sense of smell of a god, right? You're not going to be able to do it. We've won a lot of world championships on Kingsford charcoal and B&B charcoal. We won a lot of cook-offs on charcoal, and it's that for that reason. You get the majority of your flavor from the wood selection, which is key, right? Selecting your wood, finding it properly seasoned, the right size, the right moisture content. That's more important than picking which base fuel you use as a kindling. Basically, charcoal becomes kindling in our world, right? Whether it's lump or whether it's the briquettes. Now we recommend briquettes because in a vault, especially because sometimes you open a bag of lump, pour it out, and you have dust, and then you have chunks the size of your forearm. You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell? I want that same result every time. That's why we recommend briquettes, especially for the insulated. For the offset, it doesn't matter. You can use either or. We recommend a base of lump or a base of briquettes. Light the whole thing, then start burning your sticks, right, in an offset in our snipers. But for our vaults specifically, and you can use lump. And I get a lot of customers that are like charcoal snobs. They're like, man, I use Wicked Brain and I use this brand, and they've done all the research. If you're just grilling with straight charcoal, it's a little bit more critical. You can taste that flavor if you're just doing the steak, right? And then all you're using is that charcoal. But if you're doing the smoker and you're using wood and charcoal and spices, it's not as critical as people make it to be. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been talking to these guys about it, and that's what I use. I use briquette mostly. So I'm going through a lot of briquette. But it, like you said, it's consistent. It's a consistent heat, and you don't have to worry about anything spiking or not spiking. But the only thing I'm doing different, which I learned on talking to you just now, is you're using splits. So I use a bunch of
splits.
chunks.
Splits is key, and you'll notice, dude, when you switch over to using splits, it's a little harder to maintain those consistent temperature, right? If you look at your pit temperatures over time on a graph, if you're just sprinkling in chunks of wood along with your charcoal or whatever, you're going to be more consistent. But if you're also a good pit master and you know how your pit breathes, your combustion ratio, where your dampers are supposed to sit, you're going to notice a big difference in flavor by switching over to a properly chosen split, right? You can smell it, bro. Now I can get into the barbecue science on it. I can tell you about surface to burn combustion ratios of why it's better on a split of wood this big versus a chunk, which is too efficient and too much oxygen getting to that wood. But that's the key to it. I mean, that's the gist of it. You'll smell the difference. You'll taste the difference.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome.
I'm like, oh. Wow.
Yeah.
You guys are asking. I'm just here spewing, bro.
Yeah. Thank you.
You gotta want to get in barbecue science. That's what we're all about at Pitmaker, man.
Let's see what do we got. Anthony, you got anything?
No, man. Like I just said it, man. I mean, it blew my mind, man. I didn't. Wow. I mean, it's a whole nother level, bro. I never thought about that. Yeah. And that whole thing he said, right? And as simple as it sounds, it's kind of, you wouldn't think about it, but like just putting in a water pan like that to counteract that flare up or whatever with the temperature imbalance there, man, game changer right there, man. That just blew my mind. I wouldn't thought about that.
Yeah, well, I was always scared to
save your Thanksgiving turkey, bro.
Yeah, for sure. I was always scared to overshoot it because I always knew, man, once it's overshot, that's it. You're right. Be cooking at 320 degrees. But at least now I know now. So, George, we do a little segment on this show where we talk about, we call it your dream team. It's 4 other people that have influenced your barbecue journey. You've been around for a while, so I mean, 18 years is, with Pitmaker, you've seen a lot, you've done a lot.
Hey, 5 years with Pits and Spits, man. It's been 23 years in the industry.
Wow.
Yeah, my partner's even longer. I don't know if you guys know that, but I just look young. Amazing.
So why don't you shout out some of them? I mean, so we got 4 influential people in your journey, and then we do a honorable mention. So it's really 5 people.
Awesome.
Okay.
Way to give props, bro.
In my journey as a pitmaster,
a pitmaster, just anything,
or who I would want on my cooking team. Like, where is this? Where is it?
And any way you want to go, George.
Exactly. Any direction.
Any direction.
Who would I want on my cooking team, or influence in my barbecue journey? I have to shout out, and it's because we have the cooking team from hell, and we don't compete as much as we used to, but I have to have my two partners and brothers, Victor Howard and Julio Howard. Yeah, they're just, they've been through everything that I have been through and more. And in the trenches, whether it's we're cooking for rock stars and we only have 5 hours to execute this competition level brisket, whatever it is, right? We've been there, we've done it. I've been through it with them, and we've learned from it, and we've adapted and overcame, right? From whether it's cooking for whatever, a crowd, competition, I have to put those two in there. After that, I would say Chris Lilly. You guys know who that is?
Yep.
Big Bob Gibson's. Mr. Memphis, as I call him, one of my long-term legendary friends. He's been doing it as long as we have, or longer, probably. And who would I want on my team that actually are on our team honorably, at least once a year? Jackie and Tim Milligan. Chupacabra, Team Chupacabra. Those guys are just awesome and family of ours, and we love them. Yeah, I'd say that rounds out my 5 right there, guys.
Nice, awesome.
Yeah.
How'd that make you feel whenever Jackie and Tim both walked away first place? Was it first place rib and
best feeling
brisket
in the world, bro. Best feeling in the world. I don't know if I have a video on it. I have the video on it live. Like it was the best. Dude, it's making me water right now just thinking about it. Just seeing those two, and they're cooking with us, and it was just it's an incredible one of the total highs I've ever had in cooking competitive barbecue. Is seeing those two on our team winning with us was incredible. Yeah, I don't know what else I can say about that.
That's awesome, man. I think everybody feels the same way whenever we saw that. I was watching the live whenever that happened, and you heard Pitmaker, and then man, everybody just fucking went crazy. So
yeah.
What else?
So one question I got for you on the vault. What's your thoughts on putting ribs and brisket on at the same time?
I've done it. So in competition, it's timing, right? If you're talking about competition or something else, Kyle.
Let's just talk restaurant.
Restaurant?
Yeah.
Again, it boils down to temperature and wood selection and what you're trying to accomplish with your flavor profile. I feel like different woods complement different meats just like different spices do. So whenever you're putting 2 different meats on the same wood smoke, you're influencing those flavors similarly. Right? And it works, right? The truth is most hardwoods taste good on everything. There's certain woods that you can put oak in everything, you can put hickory in everything, you can put specifically those two on just about poultry, chicken, pork, right? Or exotics. So if I was having to do that, that's what I would run. I would run hickory or oak or a combination, and I would to put both ribs and rib and beef on the same smoker. Does that make sense? I wouldn't go like, oh, let me reach out for some peachwood here. Yeah. For my ribs and my brisket. No, you want ribs on peach, maybe not on your beef, right? So
mesquite or something like that, right?
Right. You don't want mesquite. Well, I don't use a lot of mesquite in general because I don't. It has its place, but it's overbearing. It can get bitter really fast, especially if you don't have a good selection, like it's not seasoned properly.
Right.
So for competition, it's timing. Like I've won cook-offs by myself on one vault, right? I won Montgomery County Fair, 2016. It's 150 teams back then. I think 140 teams with one vault cooking. First place ribs. First place brisket, second place pork, and third place ribs on one vault.
Damn.
Wow.
And to me, it was timing. I was like, let me start my pork and my brisket. I started with oak, something I knew both of those could accept. I switched over to hickory, got in the wrap. Then I put my ribs on, right? So it's timing. And then when I put my ribs on, I switched to hickory, right? So it's just, and for competition, it's more timing. Then you can accomplish different smokes and different meats simultaneously with one smoker if you're timing it correctly and you're putting your stuff on as after your brisket or your long-term pork, your butt or whatever gets in the wrap, right? And the same thing with even when you're doing production. If you're trying to do a lunch service for catering and you have you want all your meat to come out, and be done around noon, then you time it out to where your ribs may not be on with that whatever you got put on your brisket. Are you talking more from a dripping perspective, smoke perspective, or what, Kyle?
I would say more dripping. That's one concern I've always had, was it if it dripped and messed up the bark or something like that, right?
Yeah. So for that instances, and even for competition, I will run my briskets, pans or foil on the second rack and middle rack, and then run my pork butt or ribs, and then another set of pans.
Mm-hmm.
The vault gives you that room, right? Maybe you can do it on the safe for competition, but on the vault you can run at least 2 different meats or 3 different meats because you have that level of room. You're able to do that.
How many racks?
And that's what I did when I won the Montgomery County Fair. It's 5 cooking grates on the vault, 22 by 25 inches, and I ran 2 briskets, 2 pork butts, and then I put my ribs on later. Once they're in the wrap, I can remove one set of the separating drip pans, or both sets actually, right? Because they're not dripping on each other anymore. Then I can put my ribs on. And I can also change temperatures by moving up or down a little bit because there's temperature differentials on the racks in the vault. So it's timing and it's thinking, right? On a cabinet smoker specifically, how not to ruin your bark with drippings from other meats in a competition or catering.
What would you say the temperature difference is between the top and the bottom racks?
Between 25 and 35 degrees. The top rack in the vault's the hotter. A good pitmaster will utilize those temperature differentials to accomplish different things: setting bark, moving stuff down, moving stuff back up, speeding stuff up. It's probably less than that. It also depends on how much cold meat you have on the pit, right? Mm-hmm. As you load those grates up, those temperature differentials shift because meat acts as a heat sink and it acts as a deflector plate, right?
Right.
And we've done tests. I've done it with empty. Empty is like 10-degree difference, 15-degree difference. When you start loading meat on there, it occludes. It starts affecting how infrared energy is transferring. It starts affecting what it's absorbing on the way because the meat's cold, right? Mm-hmm. Everything shifts a little bit. It gets very fluid. Those are some of the things you have to learn after using your pit as a pitmaster, kind of what's going on with when I put that meat up there. Oh, shit, my temperature is now 10 to 20 degree difference because it's absorbing this or that. Or now my brisket's up to temperature and this.
You're back.
Yeah, I froze for a second.
Just for a second.
What I was saying?
Yeah, just for a second, like maybe 1 or 2 seconds. Just whatever the last thing you said. We missed it, but it's all right.
So what I was saying is, as a pitmaster, you have to know what's going on with your pit when it's loaded or unloaded, and the temperature differentials, right? No matter what pit it is, that meat acts like a heat sink, acts like a deflector plate, and you notice like, oh, my briskets are getting up to temperature, and now my pit temperature is rising because that brisket's no longer acting as a heat sink. It's absorbing that heat in heavy pounds of cold meat, right?
Right.
So that's just one of the things that us as pitmasters, we have to start learning to anticipate with what's going on with our meat as it heats up and as we load it and unload it, the pit, right?
Yeah, because here recently. Yeah, here recently, I've noticed that I'm using the same racks. Like I'm just using the same racks. I'm not adjusting anything. I don't think I've ever put anything on the very top rack. You know what I mean? It's just basically just 2, and the bottom rack I never used either. So for a water pan, that's about it. But need to try that for sure.
You got any tips and tricks on the sniper?
Because you have that sniper now, right? You have a 48-inch or 58-inch long rifle.
48, fully insulated.
That's right. People make a lot about the difference between our Magnum sniper and our long rifle and our regular sniper and insulated firebox, and they're not that very different. The fully insulated firebox on the Magnum cooks essentially the same as a long rifle with the partially insulated firebox. You know, we insulate the top and the sides and the door and the that's where the majority of your heat loss is occurring, is at the top of that smoker. And so I'm getting off subject here, Kyle, but to read that, the fully insulated firebox, you know, doesn't allow you to like walk away like the Vault does. You're still having to kind of load one load of fuel every hour or so for proper combustion, proper breathing on the sniper, whether it's fully insulated firebox or not, right? For tips and tricks, it's going to be the same for any smoker. Your best flavor is going to occur when you're having clean combustion, right? For me, that's one or two sticks of wood, two smaller sticks or one big piece every 45 minutes to an hour and 15, depending on what temperature you're trying to run and how much cold meat you have in the pit, right? Those things will adjust how much fuel and the damper, where your damper is setting.
Right.
So that's gonna be your best flavor profile. And people screw up, man. They'll overload their firebox and they'll have a smolder, and you know, and it's putting smoke in the meat. But is it the best tasting, flavorful smoke that you want? No, right? And then or they'll and actually, the tip that I can give you that a lot of people miss on the sniper is the preheat, right? So we'll do the same thing in our Vault. I mean, I'll do the same thing in our snipers. I do the Vault. It's not because I'm impatient, right? But I'll take my torch, get a medium flame on there, and I'll just kind of, there's 3 levels in your sniper, right? That back wall and the far wall. I will take my torch, you know, and you can hit the grates. And I tell people, it's useless to hit the grates because the grates don't hold heat. The heavy metals on that back wall and the far wall where the smokestack is, and you hit it. If you just go in there, build your fuel, build your kindling, your pile of charcoal you're ready to light in your firebox, walk over to your sniper, preheat that back wall 30 seconds per level. You have 3 levels, one above each grate, right? 30 seconds, and then on the far wall, maybe 15, maybe a little longer on a very cold day like in December, right. Kyle? Shut your door. That's maybe you spent 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes on a cold day. Shut your cooking chamber door, walk over to your firebox and light your firebox charcoal. By doing that, you're not having to overwork your fuel to heat up all that 500 or 600 pounds of steel now. You're able to now light your fuel. Your pit's going to be at the temperature faster. And if you look at that, if you chart your temperature over time on a graph, you're going to see that instead of doing this, it's going to come up and do this.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're not relying on the fuel now to heat up all that cold steel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's thermodynamics too, right? So if I heat it up, it'll draw the heat.
Exactly thermodynamics. It's exactly what it's physics. If you heat up the steel, now you're able to stabilize what's coming out of your firebox specifically. Like basically, when I do that on modern snipers, 4 or 5 minutes preheat, walk over to my firebox, light the pile of charcoal, the entire pile of charcoal's lit. That takes another 4 or 5 minutes. While you're doing it, you're dumping more heat. And so if you notice what I mentioned was, I'm not heating up that wall that's connected to the firebox, because as soon as I light the firebox, that heats it up. I'm just heating the back wall and the far wall where the smokestack is. I told you not to heat that wall that's in the firebox, because I know as soon as I walk over and I'm going to light my charcoal, that's going to heat up automatically.
Right.
So now I have all 3 sides of my smoker heated up. My coal's lit. I put my small split of wood, or my two small splits or one big split on top of my coal. I'm lighting my coal. That's 4 or 5 minutes to light the charcoal, 4 or 5 minutes to light your wood on top of the charcoal. 5 minutes from the preheat. 15 minutes, that sniper is rock solid 260, 275, wherever I want it to be. Done. There's no playing with it. No, oh man, let me let that steel heat up. No, no, it's cold outside. It's done because I've used my torch to overcome any environmental problems. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So I like my Jambo a little bit differently, right? The Jambo has like a U shape built in the bottom of it, and I'll put 3 tumbleweeds down there. I'll put my charcoal and I'll light the tumbleweeds, and the tumbleweeds will take care of lighting the charcoal for me.
Yeah.
And I'll just throw 1 piece of wood on there, and I'll come back about 20 minutes later.
Anthony.
Yeah, I'll come back about 20 minutes later, and it's at 300 degrees. So the first time I lit that sniper, I tried to do the same thing, and holy shit, if I put any more wood on there, that thing would be at 325, 350. It took off. So that's a
function of your fully insulated firebox too, right? That's the difference. And it is more insulated than the Jambo.
Oh yeah. That's why I called you. I'm like, hey, like, how do I run this thing? Like, I want to, do backyard cooks. I want to run 250, 275, and they're like, well, just light this much of it closer to the firebox, right, or to the cooking chamber. Let it go.
Yeah.
Preheat, and we talked through all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah, it's good information, George, for sure. If somebody wanted a Pitmaker, how far back are y'all? How long does it take to get one?
Right
who
now,
do they call?
They call us, the main number. We're a small company. One of 3 people will pick up, and we'll take the call. We'll take the order. We'll get your estimate to you with options. We're a make-to-order company for most of the way. We do have vaults and safes in stock right now.
Okay.
But 4 to 6 weeks, 3 to 6 weeks for a backyard pit that we don't have in stock. If you want a vault, Grillmeister, sniper, that maybe you want to vault a certain color, maybe you want a green or orange or whatever. We have black ones and we have gray ones in stock in general. The same thing with safes, different versions. Snipers, we every now and then we have in stock, but you're going to wait probably 2 to 4 weeks for a sniper in general, right?
That's not too bad.
Half down payment to start the work, the rest due upon pickup or completion. That's how we work. On a trailer, right now we're about 6 to 12 weeks, depending if it's a single axle, double axle roof and awnings, right? It'll go out to 12 weeks, 10, 12 weeks.
That's still not bad at all. I mean, most places, you're looking at 6 months, to a year before you get in.
That's crazy to me. Like, as a small business owner, as a startup mentality, me and my partners, we always are shocked at how people can hold on to other people's money that long.
Right.
How would you do that? How do you do that? Right. Typically as a small business owner, if I'm buying steel, I'm buying this and this and that, whatever, I'm buying, it's cyclical, right? You buy with a steel vendor. Typically you have 30-day terms, maybe 45-day terms. If you use your card to pay that bill, then you have another 30 days. If you're not kicking out that product in that time frame, you're fucking up as a business owner. You're not getting your product to your customer, or you're not hiring enough people to do it because you have small thinking, or maybe you're scared, right, to grow your company. And it's stressful too, though, because if you're in production and you're constantly having to try and be in production, it's scared to ramp up and have extra people too, right? It's a balancing act, but I've always struggled with how are you hold on to your customer's money for 6 months, dude? That's insane to me.
Right.
That's just, or longer. Like I hear these long wait times from Jambo and all this, and it's crazy to me, dude. I don't understand it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome that y'all are pushing them out though, for sure.
Yeah. Even custom stuff, we don't, it'd have to be really custom or something crazy for us to take more than three months for a trailer. It'd have to be really crazy, something radical. And we've done some radical stuff. I don't know if you've seen some of that stuff.
Oh yeah, beautiful stuff. It's all awesome stuff. So, I'm excited, man. I'm excited, and I can't wait to put a down payment on a vault.
Yes.
Now that I'll be able to afford one here, hopefully soon. We'll see what happens.
You won't be disappointed, Serge, and we're there to support you as family, brother.
Right.
When you buy one of our pits, you call us up. We're no matter whether you have a podcast or not. You know what I'm saying? We're just like that. We want our customers to be successful with our pits. I don't know if you talk to other customers of ours that have that feeling, but that's one of our goals.
Awesome.
My if I can get a vault in my trailer with that 48-inch sniper, I don't think I'll need anything else. I think I'll be able to go, and if I want a competition cook out of it, I can. Yeah, if I want to, cater, I'll be able to.
Yeah,
that's the best combo. And thanks, Nicho. Nicho.
Yeah, it's Nicho.
That's why you see a lot of our especially our comp trailers, vault and a sniper, because there are different cooking characteristics from an offset to a vault.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, people, and if you really want to get into a deep discussion, that's the number one question. And I'm surprised you guys didn't answer it. Which would you get, a vault or a sniper? Because you can get this long rifle sniper and a vault are the same price. If I can only afford one, which do I get, right?
Right. Yeah, I was gonna ask that, but I figured they're both your babies, so it's not a fair question.
No, but that's a valid question, because for a lot of people can't afford both, right? So which one do you get? And the question is, which one do you feel more comfortable in cooking with? Like, I'll talk to a customer, right, and I'll say, what do you have? What have you used in the past 10 or 15 years? What do you like about it, right? And then if it's that pipe pit guy, that's he's always cooked in pipe pit. He thanks, Caesar.
Yeah, Caesar.
If you just have a pipe pit for years and that's what you like, you're gonna like the characteristics of the sniper, right? It's a harder, drier smoke, and then people that are looking for that or come from the cabinet pit world, and we get a lot of people that switch over to us from backwoods because their backwoods fell apart, or all kinds of stuff. And they'll want a vault, but if they're for this person that is not really leaning one way or the other, which one do they get? And the question is, the answer is they cook a little differently, right? Then there's pros and cons to both, right? The vault, because it's fully insulated, it's more weather resistant, meaning cold weather, rain, hurricanes, like cold snaps, that doesn't bother the vault. And I've just told you, we have situations. The coldest cook-off I ever did was like the Jack Daniels World Championship cook-off in like 2012. Me and Victor went up there. Maybe it was 13, 14. I can't remember. Got down to 20 degrees. And we were cooking with our customers team. He was a one-man guy, and he's like, dude, come help me cook this. And we're like, we're in. He was flying. He was from California, and he couldn't bring his pit easily. I'm like, dude, if you want us to be on your Jack team, we'll tow you up a vault, right? Because that's what he had, a vault. So we towed him up a vault trailer to Lynchburg, Tennessee, and we're at that cook-off, and he's like this old school guy. He's like, I want to put it on at 10 o'clock p.m. and cook overnight. We're like, okay, we'll help you with that. So we put it on, dude. It was so cold, the water bottles froze on the table.
Wow.
And I've never been that cold down here in Texas, right? And we were going to die. If we didn't have a fire pit, we would just die. But I have footage and videos, like it's 20 degrees outside at 11 o'clock at night, and the vault was rack steady at 260 with that brisket on, just like you wanted it.
Damn it.
You know what I mean? So a sniper, you're going to be loading more wood, then you're going to kind of screw up your respiration because you're trying to overload the pit with hot wood to overcome that cold temperature outside you're going through. You know what I mean? So that's the pro of the vault. Number two, it's naturally moisture because of the reverse flow.
Mm-hmm.
It's naturally a more humid environment. Because even if you don't put in a water drip pan or water pan that evaporates so much moisture, as long as there's meat on the vault, that meat is giving off steam as it's cooking, that steam is rising, it's being forced to mix with that smoke coming from the top of the pit, going downwards, right? So it's a naturally moisture vault. that's why one of the reasons we cook the more delicate meats in there for competition, like chicken and ribs, because it's naturally a little bit moister. It's gonna baby that bark formation on a lower temperature a little bit more gently than the harder smoke and drier smoke of an offset like the sniper. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But they have the same smoke density, and you'll hear people make this complaint about the vault if you go and view it on forums for any number of years. Oh man, I can't get a smoke ring out of my vault. I can't get a good deep smoke flavor out of my vault like I did in my offset. And it's because they more than likely user error. It's because the reasons I mentioned before. Number one, they're cooking with chunks of wood instead of a split, right? So you're getting a more efficient burn. In the wood smoke characteristics get worse as you get fish size chunk, chips, and they're horrible at like the pellet form, and that's why like you can burn 5 pounds of pellets and not get a smoke anything on anything, right? Because that surface to burn ratio is too efficient, and you're not getting the smoke output of that fuel, even though it's wood. It's the size of the wood you're burning and how much flame is on it, and what is how efficiently it's burning, right? So that's not, I'm getting sidetracked, but that's the number one difference. But if you're using both correctly, they both have the same smoke density and quality of smoke when you open up both pits under full burn. You open up a vault, you open a sniper, and there's the same smoke in there. I'm like, well, why is my brisket smokier on my vault? You know the answer? It's because an offset like the sniper, you're running 4 to 6 times the level of fuel through the smoker per hour, cubic feet of smoke per minute, literally, because it's even though there's the same smoke in there, you're running more smoke.
You're going through it,
deposited on the meat, cubic feet of smoke per hour onto the meat.
Right.
That's why it's
makes
smokier.
sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
that's good and bad. Because you can't oversmoke stuff, right? Everybody knows that.
Oh, hell yeah.
For sure.
Unwrap too long, gets too fucking bitter. You drop too much creosote on there, and you're like, ugh, it's like chewing a piece of charcoal, even though it's cooked perfectly. But it has too much smoke on it, right?
Right.
So as a pitmaster, you're able to precisely control these things at either smoker by knowing your smoker, right? By knowing what's going on, how I'm supposed to run this one versus that one, and orchestrate the best characteristics per piece of meat. And that's it. As a competition guy, you're supposed to know that too, right? Now, as a pitmaster, I know I can accomplish the same thing on either one. I know how to run my vault. I've won second place brisket at San Antonio Rodeo on a vault, and we've won first place brisket on a sniper. Same thing, Memphis in May, we won first place brisket on both. Different years. Right. If you know what you're doing, you can accomplish one, versus the other. It just takes more smoke exposure in the vault, maybe more hours before you wrap, to get the same level of smoke or smoke ring or smoke on deposited upon the meat. It's also wood selection. You're just paying attention to these things. But so cons, the vault is a little smaller compared to the same cost of a sniper, right? It fits a little bit less meat. You're able to fit a larger piece of meat, like a cabrito or a small suckling pig on the sniper, right? Or a shank of beef, versus the vault. So there's pros and cons of both. But Kyle here has got the right answer. Best of both worlds. Get both on there for a competition rig. That's why you see a lot of our rigs like they have both. Like, right. That's what Tim and Jackie run too. So they have a safe. They have a sniper. They're running versions of both. And a lot of our customers and ourselves have great success by running two smokers, two different temperatures, two different meats, two different wood types simultaneously for competition. That's going to be your best, in my opinion, your best equipment for success, right? Both types of smokers.
Awesome. Man, that's good information, George. Let's see, what did Nicho say? Nicho said he cooked. His go-to is the vault. 12 briskets with 1 bag of charcoal.
That's it. I'll tell you a shift. Me and Julio, we were big sniper proponents. We worked really hard on the door system, and we really love the sniper for many years. As you get older, you get lazier. The vault, yeah, I can tell you that the vault is less work too, right?
Yeah.
If you get it dialed in and you get it set correctly, it's just more resistant to temperature change. It's more stable without babysitting it versus any offset, right? If you get it dialed in correctly.
Man. Anything else, Kyle? That's some good information, man.
Yeah, I do have one last thing. I heard a rumor of a vault with a pellet feeder on the side of it.
It exists. It
Does
is. It is a thing. We built it for Dr. Smoke. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
I've heard the name. Yeah.
He's done well in the competition world. But he wanted it specifically. I prefer briquettes, Nicho. I answered that question earlier. As a competitor, as a pitmaster, I like the consistency of the briquettes on the vault. As long as you're using good selected wood, quality wood, the right size, the right seasoning on it. It doesn't matter what you use. You're going to get great results in the food, good smoke flavor, good density, because whether you use charcoal, briquettes, or lump, you're not going to affect the flavor of the meat output if you're selecting your wood correctly and you're running the right fuel. I prefer briquettes because consistency. I want the same results every time. Lump, sometimes you open the bag, you get dust. Sometimes you get blogs. Anyway, back to the original question. Pellet on a vault. We've always resisted it. We get that request every now and then, and we can do it, and we've done it. But you know what the problem is? If you know the history of pellet cookers.
What's that?
Pellets were a byproduct of the furniture and factory industry, right? And they were made let's take the sawdust, turn it into something useful. Oh, you know what? We can use it to heat people's homes. Then someone had the bright idea. Oh, we can actually cook food with it, right? If we just make the quality better and make sure we're running certain sawdust on certain things, and they applied it to overcome the limitations and the crappiness of cheap Chinese stamped steel. Thin, because they can run crappier nut. You can just feed it more pellets, right, in the hopper, right? So that was the origination of that. Now, it still doesn't work very good. The problem with using one on a vault is what I described earlier. Once you're up to temperature, you stay there. So if I get up to 225 or 250 on my vault with my pellet feeder in it, then what happens?
You put it on pause.
It never turns on again, bro. So how am I going to get wood flavor on my meat? Right. Now I have this insulated, basically a giant metal Yeti that has meat in there and is cooking at 225, 250, or whatever you set it at. And then instead of kicking on once every 5 minutes like it would with that cheap Chinese pit, thin sheet metal pit, it's going to kick on once every 30 minutes, or maybe less. Yeah. So then how are you going to get smoke on your meat, bro? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of other issues with pellets that people don't realize. If you dig deep into the barbecue science of it, there's a lot of problems with I can go deep, man. How deep do y'all want to
go? Glue?
Huh?
I said, has it got glue in it or what?
Well, even on an all-natural pellet, a lot of manufacturers will put binders. They'll put, oil or paraffin wax or moisture, and the second problem is that pellet feeders are designed to work with the BTU output of oak sawdust in general, right? When you start deviating, let me get a cherry sawdust. It doesn't work the same way as a feeder electronic board that was designed to work with the BTU output of oak sawdust. And so to get around that, pellet manufacturers will be like, let's just put hickory oil in it instead of real hickory dust, or cherry oil with it in real. You follow me?
Yeah.
So you get a lot of inconsistencies in how pellets are made, and that in turn creates problems with a true aficionado trying to cook real meat, right? With different types of wood. You're not getting, you may or may not be getting the actual different type of wood. Not to mention the problem I mentioned before with surface to burn combustion ratio of a piece of sawdust that big. It's just you're not getting a lot of flavor out of it. Period.
Right.
Now it has this, it's kind of grown into its place in the barbecue pit world. A lot of people use it as a holder, as a finisher, because it's a set and forget, right? They don't. You throw something in there to finish.
Just a little bit of heat.
Yeah, and we make a really good pellet pit. We use 1/4 inch thick steel, all stainless hinges, all stainless steel handles and stuff. It's super tough. Handmade here in Texas. People don't realize that, but we do a great one. But in terms of putting it on our vault, or why we don't offer that as a standard option, for just the reasons I described. Now, Dr. Smoke, he uses it to make jerky, so he's not necessarily having to have, that competition level smoke density, that we're all looking for.
He just needs heat.
Meat. He just needs to get. He's a dehydrator, basically, an efficient one at that, right? So that's how primarily the way he uses it. He also had like a crazy programmable board. Like there's a lot, you get deep into pellets too, man. There's a lot of crazy programmable stuff you can do with feeding rates and auger rates and temperature sensor settings and all kinds of stuff to make that thing throw pellets in there no matter what. Kick out smoke.
Right.
It's interesting.
Right. Well, with that being said, what's your go-to pellet?
I don't use pellets, bro.
Okay. Makes sense.
I don't. People ask me that, especially because we have and something that's not on our website, but we've made a lot of. We have a really badass pellet hybrid system. I don't see the option to drop anything. Do I have an option to drop something? Anyway, where we have an offset firebox smoker, a 36-inch chamber, and a pellet feeder, and it's a reverse flow.
Okay.
On the pellet side. And so you kind of get the best of both worlds. Because most pitmasters know, you get your hardcore smoke flavor on your meat in the first hour to 3 hours of cooking. And after that, you can wrap it, throw it in the oven, whatever,
Right.
So that's kind of how that pit was designed. But to answer your question again, I don't use pellets.
Okay. Fair enough.
In general. All natural pellet, I don't see the difference between one or the other. I'm not trying to put smoke on my meat with a pellet. If I'm using it, it's just to supplement cooking, to finish something off.
Right. Well, just like that, George, 2 hours are gone.
Time flies when you're having fun, guys.
Man, I'm telling you, man.
It was a good interview, man. It really was.
Yeah, a lot of information. You go back and listen to the show, and then you're going to start picking up more little nuggets here and there. So man, I appreciate your knowledge and appreciate you coming on for sure.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for having me. I had fun. Enjoyed talking with y'all.
Yeah. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, George.
Anytime, guys. You have a good night. I guess, are we ending it right here?
Yeah, I think we're gonna call this one. If you want to stay in backstage, we're gonna close the show out, and if you want to talk a little bit longer after we get out, we can.
Fair. Sounds good.
Cool. All right,
brother.
Thanks.
That was good, huh?
Man, there's a lot of information, dude. Like, having Ara on and then having George on is just like fucking mind blowing. Yeah, a lot of information, man. A lot of information.
Shit, you've been running that pit of yours for a while now, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you got some tips and tricks to try out next week.
Yeah, to go back. I mean, the same thing. Like Ara gave me some tips. He cooks on the vault, and he gave me some tips on the cabinet. I kind of took that in there. I saw some differences that I'm going to continue doing, and then I'm going to try, what George said, and then see what kind of changes that does, and we'll figure it out, man. But it's a damn good pit. So, what do we got next week, Kyle?
Jimmy. I'm a butcher the name if I say the last name. I couldn't remember. I don't know if I'm just having a brain fart, but what the hell was his last name? How do you pronounce it?
Spurgill,
Sproul.
something like that.
Yeah, that's who we got next week.
Awesome. Oh yeah. Well, cool, man. Anything else? You want to call this one? Episode 60. Can you believe that? 60 episodes.
Hell of an episode, man. Hell of a one to go for.
Yeah, 60. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. Take some more notes, man. So
61's gonna be good too, man. So
we'll keep going as long as people are listening. So
let's roll.
Cool. All right. Thanks for everybody watching, and we'll catch you again next week.
Later, bro.
This is Parrish Randall, and this concludes this episode of Beyond the Smoke. Thanks for stopping by, friend. We hope to see you again real soon. Until next time, happy trails. Until we talk meat again.